Man, I tell you,
Yes.
we excited.
Yes.
Robert Earl Dean,
I feel like praising him.
as always, we got another hot interview today.
We got
And,
another
and,
one.
and you know, I'm going to talk about this young man
Talk
because
about it. Talk
he, he,
about it.
he, he from San Diego,
Yes,
California.
sir.
But I'm going to talk about this picture that he sent me because that take me back to the 1980s where we would grab our chin
Yes.
and show our ring and
And
our hat.
hold our head
Now,
up high.
now the only problem I got with the picture, it don't say SD, it say N.
NC.
Yeah,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Well, who do we got with us today, brother?
Now, let me tell y'all, those who are moviegoers, those that love soundtracks,
Uh huh.
this gentleman was part of one of the biggest soundtracks in the music industry history.
In the history,
In the history. Do y'all remember a movie from 1995 called Dangerous Minds?
Dangerous Minds.
It was a little light skinned teacher,
Uh huh.
white girl.
Yeah, white girl.
She was at a minority school,
Uh huh.
something like Lincoln and Morris growing up.
Yes.
And she was a tough cookie in this school.
And wasn't she like a military,
Military,
ex-military person?
yes, yes.
You know, man, I tell you, she had a good heart though,
She
right?
did, and she didn't play.
Yeah, you know, she was like, look, don't play with me, cause you might
You
get
might,
done.
you might get some of these knuckles.
Yeah, and she was no joke. She was
Right.
no joke.
So the music that goes with this, it goes by the name of Gangsta Paradise.
Let's just listen. Let's listen right quick, just for
Just a
a
taste.
taste of it and everything like that. Uh oh.
You hear that music? A
Uh oh.
masterpiece.
Uh
Come on.
You
oh.
want to tell me what this is all about?
Tell her what it's all about. Come on, Coolio.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death,
See?
I take a look at my life and
Okay.
realize
That's
there's
all we're
nothing
gonna give
left.
her.
'Cause I've been
Man, that was the joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So tell me why we played that, brother.
You played it because you have this gentleman who was the brainchild behind that.
Uh-huh.
And also he was the brainchild for this gentleman named Tupac.
Tupac?
Yeah, and the song says, only God can judge me.
Uh-huh.
Yes, the one and only.
The one and only.
San Diego's own.
San Diego's
Morris High School's own.
Tigers.
Doug Rasheed. Good morning, brother. Welcome.
Good morning.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for having me on.
Man, we've been looking forward to this for this whole week, man. You are a part of the culture of hip hop. Your soundtrack was a soundtrack to a lot of people's lives. Let's talk about you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
How did you get connected with Coolio in the first place?
Well, when I moved to LA, this story actually can be long. I'm gonna try to condense
Take
it.
your time.
But
This your day, bro.
Okay, brother. I appreciate that. But I took a job when I first moved to LA in '93 from San Diego to get in the music business. I took a job at the movie studio as a security guard, and I ran into this cat, white dude, real cool white dude named Paul Stewart, who was managing a bunch of groups, and Coolio was one of them. At that time, Coolio was the only one at that time that actually had a record deal.
Mm-hmm.
I wound up doing the song with him. Actually started working with some of Paul's other groups first, but in the long run, I ended up working with Coolio. We did that song, and of course, you know the rest of it, and that's a condensed version of it.
Hey man.
6 million worldwide
Yeah,
sold.
let me say this to you. I got a couple of beefs I'm gonna have with you early on.
He always got a beef, bro.
But we're gonna get past it. But the first one I want to say is that we had Karen Briggs come to Jazz at the Creek. She played this cut in Gangsta Paradise and literally had the folks pass out. I mean, she killed it. And so I want to let you know that it's transcended just the hip hop arena. And my beef with you is, back in the day, all the light skinned brothers used to get all the girls, and I see. Then you went into music, and you made it even more difficult for us darker skinned brothers. But I'm okay with it
Because
now.
black is back.
Because black is back.
That has changed, yes, sir. First of all, Karen Briggs is a very good friend of mine. I know her through my association with Shaka Khan, and she's was a good friend of Shaka Khan. That's how I met her. So we've been friends for a very long time.
Man, was she doing the song Proud? I mean, literally, people lose their minds. It's one of my
Yeah.
highest, of Jazz at the Creek, that's one of the most highest viewed videos that we have from Jazz at the Creek because she just killed it in an amazing way.
So, Doug, did you write the song or just produce it?
What I did was I did the track. You talking about Gangsta's Paradise?
Yes,
I
sir.
did the music, which of course everybody knows it contains a sample from Stevie Wonder.
Right.
And then once I had the track, my roommate at the time, which was Paul Stewart, we used to have parties all the time. And Coolio was at one of the parties. He came in and listened to the track, and he loved it. So convinced him to get on it. You know, I didn't have to do too much convincing, but
right.
he wrote his lyrics on there. I did all of the arrangements for the choir and all that other stuff, and I basically taught that to LV, and he took it and killed it.
Wow.
And so basically, I basically arranged and produced all the music and all of the the choir parts, and Coolio did the lyrics.
Wow. Now, what about the Tupac affiliation? How did that go?
The Tupac.
The Tupac.
Yeah, my brother Tony the Trimmer Rasheed. Everybody that goes to Morris or went to Morris in the '80s knows about Tony from his basketball antics and high flying antics back in the day on the court. But he hooked me up, believe it or not, with Tupac by way of somebody that he knew that was associated with him. I sent him about maybe 4 tracks on a cassette tape, believe it or not, back in the day. I sent him a cassette tape with 4 tracks. He picked 2 of them. And 2 days later, I got a phone call. It was Pop. So I was like, oh, my God, man, this is Tupac on the phone, man. It can't be nothing but good. So he told me he wanted to do 2 of those tracks, and we went in and did them. And, those tracks, we know both those tracks turned into ghetto classics.
Yes.
So let me ask you this question. Growing up in San Diego, or being from San Diego, being from the Skyline area, I'm all about Black Oak Road. That's where I grew up at. But being in the Skyline area, what impacted you to want to go into the music and producing?
Well, I was always into music because I come from a musical family where my parents are concerned. My brother and sister were not into it, but I was. My dad played guitar, and even as a young teen, he was playing with, Percy Sledge. He was playing with groups on stage when he was a young teenager.
Wow.
I'm talking 12, 13, 14 years old. He was that good. And my mom sings like an angel. She's got a voice like, I always compared it to Stephanie Mills and Denise Williams.
Wow.
Okay.
That's the type of voice my mom has.
Yes.
And she was singing around the house all the time. And then, back in the day, everybody had stereo in the living room.
Yep.
Your parents had stereo. So, my mom and dad had a big record collection. So I grew up listening to music and watching my dad play in bands and practicing in the garage and things like that. So I was always influenced. And when I became a teenager, I took several instruments growing up, but I didn't really take to them. But I took to the bass really heavily when I was about 14 years old, and I loved it. I took to it naturally, and I really got into it. And by the time I was about 24, 25 years old, I was like, you know what? I want to do this. And I've been doing it. I took off and I moved to Japan, played over there for a couple of years and lived over there. And when I got back, I was ready to try to get into production.
Wow. I didn't know that.
See, there you go again. Light skin and play the bass. Man, you just made it difficult.
I didn't know
brother.
he played the bass.
Back then. Yeah,
Yes.
back then.
So once your name started getting known through Coolio, because that was your first big hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
How did you start working with my friend Pamela and Vibe and all the other groups? How did they get a chance to get to work with you?
Right. Actually, that was in San Diego before I even moved to LA. So when I first got back from Japan, Pam and their group that they had, it wasn't called Vibe at that time. I can't think of the name right offhand, but they were the first group I started working with when I got back to San Diego and built a little studio in my house. And we were working on trying to do album or demo, if you would, on them. And they wound up, ended up getting a deal off of some of the music that we were doing down in San Diego.
Right.
So we go way back, like way back to then.
Like your beginning stages.
Before LA.
Right.
Now let me
Yes,
ask you a
sir.
question. Are you living in North Carolina now?
Yes, I've been in Charlotte about 15 years now.
Okay, so I just want to just ask the question: what is the thing you miss most about being in San Diego?
The vibe, the energy,
Okay.
just the vibe. Being able to go down to the beach, or if I want to go to the mountains, I could drive 2 hours,
Right.
and just be in the snow if I want to do that. I mean, it just a feeling I always got, that it just feels. It's something about that weather, man. When the weather is nice, most of the time,
Hmm.
it just feels good, and it just, for me, that makes me feel good,
Right.
and that's what I miss the most.
Amen.
Right.
Amen.
And you were just a hop, skip, and a jump from Los Angeles, which many of us will
Yeah.
go and work and then come back to San Diego to not be in the hustle and bustle of Los Angeles.
Okay, so I'm gonna
True.
ask. I'm gonna ask this question, and you can be truthful. We have a
Mm-hmm.
friend that we know down here by the name of Adele. Her name was Adele Dorsey back then. She was a twin
Yes,
that
sir.
went to Morris High School. Tell us
Yes, sir.
your fondest memory of Adele back then. Something good.
She was fighting
I'm gonna be
everybody.
honest with you. My memory is bad. Me and my brother is worse than me, but my memory is really bad from back then, man. And I don't want to say on the radio
Right.
why, but but I do. But I definitely appreciate the fact that we still keep in touch. And I
Yes.
have on Facebook we have
Yes.
a very large network,
Yes.
and we keep in touch. I mean, Morris High School's network on Facebook is so huge, and it's
Yes.
not just our years. It's like the following years behind us. Everybody gets involved, and we stay in touch. And so she was the one that connected me with you guys, and I just really appreciate what she did, because it just feels good to be connected with San Diego right now.
Yeah, well, your name was always known when Gangster Paradise came out and all that stuff. We kept hearing the Doug Rasheed name, and people that went to high school and from the community knew you. So we were just proud to say that. Wow, that's one of our people from San Diego doing it big like that. Now, what
Thank you. Thank
while you lived in L.A.,
you. Mm-hmm.
how did you get connected with the various like labels that would hire
Once
you?
I had I was when I and Paul Stewart was very instrumental in that.
Mhm.
The manager that was managing Coolio, and he had Montel Jordan, who wasn't signed at the time.
Oh, wow.
Another group called YNV, yeah, and I ended up producing a couple songs on his first album. This is how we do it. Not that song, but produced on something for the Honeys, and
Oh, that was
another
another
song called
hit.
Payback. Yeah, it was another hit, and then another song called Payback featuring Coolio,
Hmm.
and then YNV, which I produced most of their album, which the single was Chocolate Tie, if you remember that.
Hmm.
That was really my first commercial release that was, I think, not my first release, but my first release that I think went more commercially, that was commercially recognized. Even though it wasn't a huge hit,
Hmm.
it got out there a little bit.
Wow. So,
And so from there, I started working with Def Jam and some of the other labels, and
wow.
just really, I kind of managed myself a lot, because me and Paul, we kind of parted ways early on
Hmm.
in my career, and I just started to kind of just reach out to the people that I knew in the business. My brother knew a lot of people, and I just just reached out and just tried to take meetings and just do whatever I could.
Hmm.
And I was fortunate and I was blessed
Right.
to have some pretty good records.
Yes.
Now, brother Doug, I'm gonna ask this question because you got everybody. You got Pam Olivia on the line, Adele's on the
Yeah.
line,
For pleasure.
Dante.
The group was
Yeah,
for pleasure.
yeah. You got all these folks online, but this is the
Yeah.
question that I want to ask you. Now, brother, there are almost every major city got a song that's like their anthem.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But San Diego right now don't really have an anthem. Do you think
Yeah.
you got one more good one or a couple more good ones in here that we could get
That
some
I
of
want to sing
so
on.
that we could get some of the dopest San Diego
I want to sing
artists
on.
to be on to give San Diego an official anthem? Can we get together and work that out?
I bet we got it already, even in my catalog.
Because
I
he got some
guarantee you
banging
we got it.
tracks. He got some banging tracks. Oh,
Okay,
I
Lord.
so
guarantee you we got it.
we're gonna get with you, and Robert O'Dean's gonna reach out to you
Of course.
because he's Mr. Hookup himself,
Yes.
and we're gonna get
Okay.
together. But check this out: you even got Stephen Pierce on the line tapping in right
Steven
now.
says, what's up?
Now
Yes, sir.
I have a question. What is your creative process like? How do you get into your writing or your producing?
What I usually do is I'll just go into my zone in my studio, which is nestled deep in my basement in a room that's like it's soundproof. It's got soundproofing all around on the inside. It's quiet, and sometimes I'll turn the TV on real low in the background just to have that noise, and I'll have that going, and I just sit and just vibe. You know what I mean? And when something comes, I'll start working on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I like when I'm writing lyric and melody, which I just really started to get into just 2 or 3 years ago. I started doing lyrics because before that, I only focused on tracks.
Got you.
But when I do that, I usually just turn the mic on, hit record, and start. And once I get a line, if I run out of stuff, I'll freestyle it, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
If I run out of stuff to say, I'll just stop it and then back it up, think a little bit. Sometimes I'll just mumble my way through a song and get a melody.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I get that, I listen back and I hear myself saying things that I didn't even know I said.
Wow.
When I was mumbling it, and then I'll get lyrics out of that and get ideas.
So let me ask you this question: why North Carolina?
Because North Carolina, there's a couple of reasons. The first reason, and first and foremost, my mom was moving to Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And my wife teases me because she teases me all the time. You followed your mommy.
Yes.
And I say, well, you know what? Yes, I did. I deny it, but it's true.
Right.
But we have a lot of family in North Carolina. My family, my mom's family and my dad's family, we have a lot of relatives in North Carolina, which is where our roots are. And I just like I like the weather. It's probably on the East Coast, the closest thing that to San Diego that you're gonna find.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just overall it's good. It's a nice place to be. I like it.
Now I have a big question for you. If you had a
Yes, sir.
chance to put together a concert saying Doug Rasheed presents, who would you feature? They could be dead or alive. Who would you feature in your concert?
Okay, well let me ask you this: is it people I've worked with or just anyone?
Anybody random. I want you to put together your group of singers, your band.
The
I want you to
baddest
put us
concert
through
in the
the
world.
baddest concert featured and produced by.
I would have to put in, and this goes to my influences, and it would start with Stevie Wonder and Curtis Mayfield.
Yes, sir.
Jimi Hendrix.
Jeez.
Okay, Jimi Hendrix. Wow. I'd probably want to put in Nirvana.
Okay.
Kurt Cobain.
Wow.
Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. There's so many, but it would definitely be a mixture of genres, which is what I do. I do all styles of music, so it would probably include some rock bands like Aerosmith, things like that.
You going with the legends?
Oh yeah, I mean these are groups that I loved. Growing up, Led Zeppelin.
What?
Oh yeah. I listen to a lot of rock, a lot
From
of everything.
Skyline, listening to Led Zeppelin.
Oh yeah, and then a lot of roots reggae stuff. Bob Marley would definitely be
Oh yes.
On that ticket, and groups like Steel Pulse and things like that really influenced me growing up. That I think would rock the concert like that. So
Sound like a
by the
festival.
time it's over, it'd be Lollapalooza.
It sounds like a festival.
Okay. So let me ask you this. I'm going to take you all the way back to high school now. Morris High
Okay.
School was known for their fashion sense. Was you part of the fashion club back
GQ
then?
club.
The GQ club?
Absolutely not. I'll tell you what. I had a moment. I think when I was a senior where I really was determined to be that guy, that dude. And so I had my Angels flights, you know what I'm saying, with the little bell bottom a little bit. I had on my Stacey Adams.
Right, come on,
I had my
Stacey
long
Adams.
leather trench coat.
Yes.
Oh, man, I was the man. I thought I was a man.
Kind of
the
Shaft. Look like Shaft.
polyester shirts with the Shaft style, yeah. So I went through that phase, and for that period, I think I was pretty clean. At least I thought I was. But
Yeah.
for most time, I was very. I didn't care about that.
Right.
I was very much not influenced by what people thought about me and things like that.
Right.
So I just came however I wanted. I didn't care.
Now, look at Gregory Brown on here.
Yeah.
Hey, now let's talk about stuff you're doing now because you back at it again. Not like you stopped, but you
Yes, sir.
finna come out with some heat.
I did.
Let's talk about some things you're doing now. Mr. Arthur.
Yeah.
Mr. Arthur.
Also, yeah, I have been doing that too. And speaking of that, I started writing literature a few years back, and it was a learning process. And out of it came, I have a novel that is currently being looked at. I can't really talk too much about that, but it's being looked at to be adapted into a film. And then I have my autobiography, which was very difficult to write. I started writing it over 10 years ago.
Wow.
Scrapped it because I just didn't like my writing style and what I was, how I was writing it. And then I wasn't really telling all of the truth either, because
hard.
some stuff, it's hard, when you're putting yourself out there like that. But I was able to come back around to writing it again once I finished my novel and read a lot of books and read a lot of novels. And I said, you know what, I think I can write it now. I think my style is better and understanding how to write. So I do have that. I'm also, and I did stop in music for a long time. I just kind of just did it for the joy of it. Went through a lot of things like people do in their lives.
Yes.
So there was periods where I just didn't do anything. I basically made a conscious decision to just focus on raising my daughter. Right? We just sent her off to college about 2 weeks ago.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And so we're proud. And, but in the process, I knew that was coming up. So I really started gearing up with the music side. And so I have a lot of music that I'm working on. I'm going to be doing some independent releases.
Wow.
And I'm just really trying to ramp up my social media platforms and just push my own stuff, being just getting more involved in the other sides of the business with merchandising and things like that. So that's what I'm gearing up for.
Yes.
So let me officially, I'm gonna ask a couple of questions, and it's gonna determine if you get to keep your San Diego community card, or if you officially,
oh man,
you done moved to North Carolina. You're a Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number one: when's the last time you went fishing?
The last time I went fishing was about 2 weeks ago.
Okay, that's strike.
I've never been fishing. I'm
saying that's strike one.
Okay.
Because that means
That's strike one.
He's closer to North Carolina.
Right. Okay, got you. I'm reading you. I see you.
But wait a minute. Can I tell you when the last time before that was?
Okay, go ahead.
Years.
Okay. Okay. Question number two.
I get some ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
In where you live, do you see more than 3 trees around your house?
Man, you can't count them. You cannot count the trees. Brother.
Strike two. Okay. Last one. When's the last time you had rolled tacos with guacamole?
Yes.
Oh man, that's cold blooded right there. Oh, you wrong for that one. You wrong for that one. The last time I had rolled tacos with cheese was when I was in San Diego, because you can't get them outside of San Diego that I know of. You definitely can't get them here, and the Mexican food here is just the worst. So I just make my own at home.
There you go.
I was in San Diego about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. We came for a visit in the summer, and I made it a point to go over to the taco shop right there on
the barrel.
I don't want to call it Four Corners, but on the Pier and
yes,
right there.
Yes, that's our place.
Next to the car wash.
Yes, sir.
And got me some rolled tacos with cheese.
Hey, check this out. That place is gone now.
What?
Yeah, it's boarded up.
Which place? The taco shop?
Right next to the by the car wash.
Gone. That car wash one is gone. But if you go further down the street, the one at the very corner, that's still going on, going strong. Had some the other day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I would love for you to come back. Man.
Yes.
The community has tremendously changed. I mean, they're building in different locations, and it's changed, but yet and still, the essence of the community is still there. And you're truly a San Diegan at heart. We're always going to claim you as one of our very own.
I want the bio.
Yeah,
I want the bio. When can we get the bio? I want the bio, my
I will
brother.
send you a bio as soon as I got a photo shoot. I need my professional headshots and all that will be coming in a couple of weeks. I have the bio already, and as soon as I get those and affix them to the bio, I will shoot it to you.
Hey, Duck, why don't you let us do a virtual official book release or something? We have Zoom and this. We have Zoom here. We have all that technical stuff. Let's do that so we can get behind you because you are San Diego. I don't care if you go to North Carolina. I don't care if you go to Atlanta, Georgia. You are a San Diego product, and we are proud to call you ours.
I'm proud to be that, and I appreciate that. I would love to do that. I need all the help I can get. You know, when you're independent, I started a hashtag of my own. It's called Support Our Own. And so
Yes.
I just believe in that. I believe in supporting artists that are trying to get out on their own and trying to be, you know, trying to get out on their own social media platforms and things like that. So I definitely appreciate all the help I can get.
It's a good time. It's a good time. And being independent is a good time because you get a chance to control your image, control your vision. You know, signing with labels is not a bad thing, but they took most of the money because they put most of the money out back then, you know?
Yeah.
And
it can be, and it can be a bad thing.
Yes, and it can be.
Yeah, and so I just want to let you know, bro, people are online right now trying to get your contact and how they can contact you. Steve Pierce said he needs you to write him a song. You know what I'm saying?
Oh Lord.
There are other folks
Everybody
out there
want to sing.
that are asking for it. So how can they get in contact with you
And follow you
and connect with you?
I'm on all the platforms. Facebook, Doug at Doug Rasheed, Instagram at Doug Rasheed, YouTube at Doug Rasheed. Some of my channels are still being developed right now, so I don't really. But I basically all of the social media platforms is at Doug Rasheed. So, and you can message me on Facebook Messenger. I hate Messenger because there's so much spam, but I still use it. You know, that's how we were communicating. Me and Adele were communicating that way.
Right.
And so, you know, if they want to reach out to me, any of my social media platforms, especially Facebook and Instagram, are a good way to reach out to me. DM me, whatever. We can talk. We can connect.
Well, on the behalf of LT Wake Up Show and the Robert R. Dean Report, we are so thankful, man. This has been such a wonderful interview. We're excited that you're back out here doing your thing because you are a legend. There's no way to get around it. You are a legend, man. That Gangsta Paradise will go down in history. It's considered one of the top 100 songs in history.
Yeah, I saw that.
6 million.
It's humbling.
6 million
sold. It's humbling for me.
Yes.
Very humbling for me.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tease you on my last thing. I'm gonna say the one thing I do like about the picture that you sent is that you have your ring finger up to let everybody know when you DM me, realize I'm happily married.
Happily married. 20 years.
Yeah, it ain't gonna go nowhere.
I'm too old to be trying to. I'm too old to be trying to act like I'm a player. You
Come
know,
on through. Come on, man.
I'm married. You know.
Right. Now we're gonna feature a song. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for this because this gentleman is singing. Many of you have not ever heard him sing, but he is singing on this song. Which song are we doing, LT?
Well, we're asking, I think it is We Will Rise.
No, it's
is it Nothing Without You?
Nothing Without You.
Okay.
So set this up, Doug. Introduce your song to the world.
Yeah, Nothing Without You is a song I wrote. I started doing gospel music recently in the past year or two, and so I'm really into that now.
Yes.
And so I just added that to my repertoire, and this is just something from my archive. My dad cries when he hears this song.
Yes.
But I wrote this song because this is how I feel in my own life.
And your wife. Let's talk about your wife because she's doing radio in gospel.
My wife is huge in Charlotte. She's been in gospel radio for over 20 years and has been a great big influence on me as far as my kind of transitioning into gospel music and adding that to what I do. So Tanya Rivens is her name, and if you look her up, Tanya Rivens Live, Tanya Rivens everywhere.
We're going to connect
on all social media.
Yeah, man.
Any social media, she's on my Facebook page. She's on all social media as Tanya Rivens, and that's TonyARIVENS.
Yeah,
she's
we're gonna reach
Facebook
out.
Live every Sunday.
Yes,
on her radio show as well.
That's awesome.
I can see her now. Now, Douglas. Just want to let you know that we're moving to North Carolina with your mama, and I'm gonna do my thing. But just realize that it's Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
First of all, she's from North Carolina. a country girl, so
Right.
I found her here.
Right. See, his moving
Yes,
moving
sir.
wasn't in vain.
Praise the Lord.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So,
we're gonna
ladies
play
and
a song.
gentlemen.
Yes. We're going to play for you right now, Nothing Without You by our friend, our San Diego,
Yes.
Doug Rasheed.
And he's